Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on cumulative frequency. The cumulative frequency column in a frequency distribution table is used for answering specific types of questions. It is obtained by adding particular numbers that are contained in the frequency column. The following example will illustrate how to calculate the cumulative frequency and will also show how it can help in answering particular types of questions. So for the first example, the table to the right shows test scores for 11 students. We have to answer two questions, and I'll show you how the cumulative frequency column helps us to answer each of these questions. How many students scored 8 or less? How many students scored at least 7? So the scores start at 5 and they go to 10. So they start at 5 and they go to 10. The score of 5 occurred twice. The score of 6 occurred 3 times. The score of 7 occurred twice, and so on. Now the cumulative frequency, if we start at the first line, the number in the cumulative frequency column is just this frequency here. Of course, it tells us how many 5s were there. There are 2. When we go to the second number in the cumulative frequency, it is asking us what is the total number for 5 and 6. In other words, it's asking us to add those two together. So 2 plus 3 gives us 5. When we go to this here, the 7 is asking us what are the total scores, how many students scored 7, 6 or 5? 7, 6 or 5, so it's 2 plus 3 plus 2, and that gives us 7. Over here, the way we get the 9 is we go 7 plus 2, so 7 plus 2 gives us the 9. The way we get the 10, 9 plus 1 gives us 10. And the way we get the 11, 10 plus 1 gives us 11. So basically the cumulative frequency column just keeps adding the frequencies together until we go to the end. Now let's see how this column will help us to answer the two questions. So the first question was how many students scored 8 or less? Right, 8 or less, that means how many students scored 5, 6, 7 or 8. If it's 8 or less, there's the answer here straight away. You don't have to do any adding. There's the answer. 9 students scored 8 or less. Question 2, how many students scored at least 7? The number of students scoring at least 7 is, now at least 7 means 7, 8, 9 or 10. Now there are 11 students altogether, okay, but we only want the number of students who scored these scores here, these scores, the number of students who got 7, 8, 9 or 10, so we discard those two. In other words, it's 11 take away 5. So the number of students scoring at least 7 is 11 take away 5, which is 6 students. So let's have a look at the next example. The table shows students' scores in a test. Answer the following question by using the information in the second table. So basically we don't have the cumulative frequency, but from the table in the previous slide, that's always the same, so that's a 2. To get this one here, it's 2 plus 2 gives us 4, so that's 4. To get this number, 4 plus 4 gives us 8. So here we have 8. And so on. So we have 2, 4, 8, 10, 14 and 16. So these are the cumulative frequency. Once again, 2 plus 2 gives us 4. 4 plus 4 gives us 8. 8 plus 2 gives us 10. 10 plus 4 gives us 14. And 14 plus 2 gives us 16. Now, we can answer the questions. How many students scored at most 3? This means 3 or less. 3 or less. That means how many students scored 1, 2 or 3? There's the answer there, 8. You can read it straight off from the cumulative frequency column. How many students scored at least 5? At least 5 means, that means 5 or 6. Okay, so 4, 3, 2 and 1 are not counted. So we take the 16 and we have to subtract the 10. So 16 take away 10 gives us 6. So 6 students scored at least 5. So this video has introduced the idea of the cumulative frequency in a frequency distribution table. We've seen how to calculate cumulative frequency, and we've seen how it can help us answer specific types of questions.